in that finance week, and I couldn't be prouder, they announced the Falcon economy. For anyone that doesn't know, Falcon economy in the UAE, with Abu Dhabi being the capital of capital. No one embodies this better than Vineet. Vineet looks after Cypher Capital, the reigning fund here in the UAE. Give him one.
I thought this was supposed to start at 9:30, but sorry for the delay, guys.
It's great to have you. Vineet, we heard just from say of Bitcoin, of crypto, of blockchain in Dubai. Tell us a little bit more about why you then went out with your partners and announced Cypher Capital and the opportunity that you saw there.
Okay, so, guys who don't know about 4 or 5 years back as Phoenix Technology, which was more into Bitcoin mining. And, after 2-3 years, we figured out that a lot of these miners don't want to end up selling Bitcoin. These are the guys who are waiting for $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. And that's how we landed up with that 100 million liquidity on. I think going forward, we understood it's more than just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a store of value, it's an asset, yes. But there are a lot of use cases that are coming up in the crypto space. You had this DeFi that was coming up, you had Play to Earn that was coming up. So that's how, we said, if we really want to be a player in the ecosystem, for me, I call the crypto in 2030. It's great to be in the play where we are investing as a venture capital firm in new startups that are coming up. And that's how Cypher Capital was born. In fact, the first fund was known as Phoenix VC, which was a 10 million. $100 million fund. In fact, tomorrow we are announcing a $250 million fund with Kevin O'Leary and another $150 million fund on gaming with Mythical Labs founders. The 3 of the founders are joining us. So I think it's basically an evolution from a miner to going more in space and helping the ecosystem build with capital, with people, with the resources.
All right, here's someone who just announced one fund for $250 million and another fund for $150 million. I think that deserves a round of applause, everyone. Now, as Crypto Oasis, $1 million fund is going to be announced in the next couple of days. Infrastructure, we just heard from Dr. Marwan. One of us is consuming right now. We're sitting here on 15 years ago. That's okay.
Hello?
Slowly but surely, we're seeing infrastructure more and more move into it. Most importantly, we see the regulatory infrastructure being born here out of the UAE. Element. The UAE. Today we can point to entities that have incepted only last year and today have 600 employees from 30 different nationalities. Where else can you do that anywhere else in the world? And here I want to play it back to Dr. Marwan, because most recently we've seen the announcement of the Dubai Metaverse strategy. Talent. Dr. Marwan, how do you believe the Dubai Metaverse strategy will help the wider UAE, the wider region, establish itself as a leader in the space?
Thank you, Sagar. I think, look, the first one, world actually hire the talent. You cannot create talent giving them jobs and opportunities. And in a we want jobs for Web3 developers, NFTs, and web metaverse building. We want to first attract the companies is one important pillar. The second pillar is actually talent attraction and talent creation. So we have UAE coders as UAE with opportunities with the people. So we're creating diverse kind of ecosystem. Talent creation through creating ecosystems where talented people can actually mingle and meet with job providers and employees and projects and even startups. So incentives programs will be there to not only connect them but incentivize them to actually work on multiple projects rather than just focus on one. There's a lot of other value that we'll create by creating this collision space between talent and employees.
Thank you, Dr. Most recently, we've seen something that in Dubai we probably think is business as usual, but if you ask me, it's probably the first government-hosted metaverse assembly in the world, where we had the pleasure of His Highness hosting metaverse leaders from all around the world. How do you see this is a significant step for the entire ecosystem, Dr. Marwan?
For us, we didn't expect that it's going to be that successful, to be honest. You worked with us on this, of course, very intimately. Also, the Dubai Future Foundation itself, a lot of the other big crypto and non-crypto projects as well, like Meta was there, Microsoft, and other big tech companies. We were blown away by the amount of enthusiasm and amount of connections that were between big
also
tech
the Dubai
and,
Future Foundation
with big
itself,
companies.
a lot of the
There
other
was,
big
huge,
crypto and
energy,
non-crypto
amazing,
projects as well, like Meta was
connections that
there,
were made. A lot of
Microsoft,
deals
and
were actually
other
signed in the
big
Metaverse
tech
Assembly.
companies.
But
We were
beyond that
blown
as well,
away
there
by
were
the amount
actual
of
practical
enthusiasm
workshops
and
for
amount
government
of
departments. A lot of the government
connections
departments
that
before the Metaverse Assembly did not understand the value take from the Metaverse. They thought it was just for meetings, or they thought it's just for like enhancing productivity post-COVID and things like that. They didn't know that there's a lot of gamification involved, a lot of play to earn, a lot of these like educational content that you can create, a lot of community creation that Web3 brings in. Those were not apparent to them at the surface before they actually went in. But because of these workshops that we had, it was literally a mind opener for government departments. And a lot of these use cases, and we've seen a lot of announcements from Emirates, from other big corporations, Amar and other real estate, and Damak and other big players in the region jumping into this metaverse head first, taking the leap of faith, or going down the rabbit hole, and actually partnering straight away with companies that they met in Dubai in the Metaverse Assembly, which is a huge success for us.
Now, Dr. Marwan, and you can see with Dr. Marwan, I could go on and on for the next 2 hours. Having said that, Dr. Marwan unfortunately needs to leave us, so I want to invite everyone to give a big round of applause to Dr. Marwan. Thank you very much for joining us. Renit and myself will continue, but we wanted to see off Dr. Marwan. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you, Dr. Marwan. Thank you. A big round of applause one more time. Doctor, can we have you back for a quick picture just before you leave? A proper one? That's a new one. I've never had a panel, and in the middle of the panel we took a picture, but that's...
Is it normal for me?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so we continue. and it's a hot seat today. That's what it is, right? So one leaves, the other one comes in, and I'm very happy to continue this conversation with Vineet, because Vineet just dropped two bombs that probably will ripple around this industry for the next couple of days. Vineet, you guys have partnered now with a guy that we've all seen on TV, we all recognize from the Shark Tank, right? And if you ask me, represents how, quote unquote, the old money is moving into this new world. Tell us a little bit about your partnership with Kevin.
So again, we met Kevin when Phoenix had invested in a company, I think it was BitZero recently, it was around 8-9 months back. And if you look at Kevin 2 years back, he was not really bullish on crypto as a space. But he has been now seeing the real value case that is coming up. It's just that traditional people don't understand use cases of crypto. They think it's just a token that pushes up in price and has no value behind it. Today, I think 2017 was all about launching tokens. 2020 was all about launching tokens and having use cases. Today, Aave is not just a token, but Aave is a way you can lend and borrow on the blockchain. You have a Fractal, which is a use case of doing KYC on the blockchain. So technically, there were use cases coming. And when we go into the next, personally, I believe the next move on will be somewhere in 2024 and 2025. Is the year when there will be these ICOs or token launches. There will be use cases, but adoption will come. Today, if I have a show of hands, how many of us have bought Bitcoin or hold Bitcoin right now?
Right,
How
that's the
many-
majority of the room. I like.
So this is, I think, 50% right now. How many of us have actually lent or borrowed on an Aave or a decentralized finance platform? The day this becomes 50%, this is the day adoption comes. Because we are so damn early in this space. And this is a crypto-focused conference. Imagine going to a general financial conference, you see less than 5 or 10% people who have actually done the use case. And this is where once adoption hits in 2024, we really see movement coming across in this space. And this is where people like Kevin O'Leary, people like Nas Daily, who really have this adoption, people follow them, would really come into picture. And for us, this is a great partnership. We get old money into the system. We get people who really are influential adopting these things into mainstream. And that's how I look at this partnership. Even, Mythical Games guys.
That was where I wanted to go next. So the next fund you're announcing is with Mythical Games, a milestone house in gaming. Everyone understands the value of Mythical Games. Tell us a little bit about more that specific
So
element.
it's technically not with Mythical Games, but the founders of that are coming over
Right.
and doing this. Because I think who better to get, but then someone who has been in the blockchain gaming space. I think games have always been there, and this is one of the things that people spend a lot of time. It's just then, how do you correlate it into the crypto economy so that it makes value and it is sustainable? And that's how this whole thing is coming up. And even if you look at Saudi setting up a 37 or a $47 billion fund, I think this is a space that we should really, really evolve. Whole of Philippines was on Axie Infinity a year back. So I think this space is something that we have really earmarked, which is going to be critical in the coming time. And that's why better to have a separate fund rather than have it under the general umbrella of CypherCap.
Awesome. So here we are seeing how old money is moving into the new world, how old elements, quote unquote, of gaming are moving into Web3. Now, I see Vineet more on stage than I see him in face-to-face events, although we live in the same city and we partner together. Tell us, when one's sitting in Dubai, it's easy to think that the entire world has started, moving heavy towards the entire crypto sphere, the entire blockchain gaming elements, the entire mining elements. Tell us in your travels, because I know you've been in Token 2049, you've traveled to Malta recently. Tell us, from this international point of view, what is the world looking like outside of the UAE, and are we on the right track here?
So again, recently I've been hearing that, institutionals will not trust the crypto economy because FTX happened and things like that. I think, these are small movements that have been happening. It's nothing new. It happened years back with Mt. Gox. It happened when China banned crypto in 2017. These are things which are, cyclical in nature. But when I look globally, when I look at I was at Messari in New York, I was speaking at Token 2049, there's a core group of people who are increasing and who believe in the use cases. So it's not a fad, it's actually a trend that's forming, people are understanding the use case. And Dubai, when you say, is it just, are places like Portugal or places like Singapore, yeah, they are really pushing for adoption. It's not just adoption for people to buy Bitcoin, but adoption for people to use these cases. Like we mentioned that the government of Dubai is trying to build up the metaverse strategy where I think, everything will be available. Intrinsically, people are lazy. They don't want to end up going to an Etisalat and getting their work done. They would prefer going in a single platform, like something like a Second Life platform, which came 10 years back, and do everything over there. So I think we are on the right track. Price movement is something that is for retail investors. That's for kids, I believe. You have to look at the inherent technology and inherent value case that is coming up. And I think the UAE is positioned well to gain from them, and that's what UAE has always done. It has innovated always.
If we look at the main name of the panel, it's the Dubai Metaverse Strategy. We heard from Dr. Marwan how the Dubai Metaverse Strategy includes multiple pillars. One of these pillars is introducing more talent into this ecosystem. I've seen firsthand how Cypher grew. Tell a little bit more to the audience where you were just a year ago and in comparison where you are today and how you see the future.
So again, as I said, I started the Phoenix VC Fund 2.5 years back with $10 million. I think at the peak it was 50 times, $500 million assets under management. It was just, initially it was all about trying out, trying to figure out that do we land up somewhere. But then, as we grew along a year back, we definitely saw this is the future. And, it's just like startup investing. It's nothing out of the blue that we are doing. And that's where the whole team was built up. That's where whole networks were built up. In fact, for us to be part of that metaverse strategy, we are also having some certain components, For us, we want the Panteras of the world, A16Zs of the world to be present in Dubai. When you look at Token 2049, I was mentioned Token 2049 as an event. I did see A16Z there. I did see Pantera over there. I did see Parify. We do not see those people right now in Dubai at the moment. I personally haven't seen them in events. We want these opinion leaders to come over here. We want those media outlets to come over here from the US. We want those influential people to also add value to the ecosystem because these are the people who can actually advise and make the path go forward. So that's one of the differences that we are doing, trying to build up the ecosystem per se. Capital, again, capital is plenty out there. Deploying it into the right projects. In fact, one of the things that we are also doing, if you would have seen us in the Future Blockchain Summit, we got our top 10 projects around, things like Few and Far, which is the first NFT play on Near protocol, today backed by, I think Pantera has backed them up. So we are also getting great projects, which are world-class projects coming out of San Francisco to set up shop in Dubai because, they always have heard about Dubai, but have never been able to configure how to come over.
You mean Crypto Oasis?
I mean Dubai, yeah. Oasis as well, yeah.
All right, wonderful. Any questions from the audience? All right, wonderful. What we've heard over here is nothing less than newsworthy. We've heard about how Dubai, since 2013, there's been pizza shops that accept Bitcoin. We've heard about the 3 pillars of the Dubai Metaverse Strategy. We've heard about a $150 million fund being announced for gaming, a $250 million fund being announced with the shark of the Shark Tanks, Kevin O'Leary. I want to give a big round of applause to Dr. Marwan, who's not here anymore, and Vineet, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's funny, I saw Peter Schiff, Mr. Gold, present for an hour yesterday in person, and the tone of his presentation and the tone of what's going on here could not be more different, and it's good to be in this vibe. All right, coming up, we have a presentation, which is how are businesses taking advantage of the metaverse. We have Attar Ahmed, CEO of Legion Network. So Attar, please come to the stage. Big round of applause. good, sir?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I just want to quickly thank Agora Group for setting up this amazing event. My name is Attar Ahmed. I'm the CEO of Legion Network. And today I want to speak about how brands and businesses can benefit from the metaverse. So everybody is talking about the metaverse. The conversations that we just heard were all about the metaverse. And for the last 2 years, many companies have been trying to get into the metaverse. Some people are confused about the metaverse, and they're just still wondering what the metaverse actually is. So I just want to really break down how we feel like businesses are going to use the metaverse in the near future. So what does the metaverse bring? Metaverse is actually the evolution of the web space from 2D to an immersive 3D experience. Many people have websites today. I speak to many businesses every single day, and 10, 15 years ago, they did not have a website. What's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years is people don't want you to just visit the website, they're going to want you to visit the web space. It's going to be an immersive experience where they'll be able to represent their brand better. So why is the metaverse important? There's many companies all around the world that have never been so interconnected ever in the history of mankind. And with this revolutionary economy and blockchain technology, people can be connected and create infrastructures for payments and socializing like never before. So this is what the metaverse brings. But why are people still confused about the metaverse? I speak to my friends every single day who still don't believe in blockchain and cryptocurrency. We speak to many different companies who don't really know how to define the metaverse. And one of the main reasons why people don't understand what the metaverse is, because it's being used as a marketing jargon. So instead of saying, for example, we are going to launch a multiplayer game, people want to use the term metaverse. We have to also remember that we're at the beginning stages of this industry. So it's normal for people to be confused about the metaverse. The metaverse can be used in so many different industries. Just heard about how the Dubai government wants to use the metaverse. Many gaming companies want to use the metaverse. Many companies that I speak to every single day, they want to use the metaverse. So this is why people are confused. They can't relate it to one single industry, and they just want to keep asking you, how can we actually use the metaverse? And one thing I also want to mention is people don't really know how to define which characteristics of their platform make it a metaverse. Because 10 years ago, everybody was playing Fortnite and Call of Duty, but that wasn't considered a metaverse. What makes what people are developing now, what makes this the metaverse? So how will metaverse help brands and businesses? Brands and businesses from all around the world, from the biggest brands to the smallest brands, are all trying to implement blockchain technology and metaverse solutions. You see a famous quote from Satya, from CEO of Microsoft, who explained the metaverse is going to be used everywhere, from the factory floor all the way to the meeting spaces. So the metaverse is not just a meeting space or a game where you can socialize, you'll actually be able to work inside the metaverse. So what does the metaverse bring? The metaverse is going to provide a new virtual reality. It's going to be the closest alternative to real life, where people will be able to actually negotiate, have conversations, transact, and own assets inside this metaverse. If you think about retail space, it's normally very expensive for you to start a store. Most people don't have enough money to build a physical store or buy a physical store in a retail space. But inside the metaverse, it's a piece of software that can be as big as you want. So we've been speaking to some schools in South America who find it very difficult to extend their school. But because of the metaverse, they don't need to extend their school. They have rooms inside the metaverse. So some students go to a physical class, and at the same time, there's other students at home who are in the same school, but they're in the metaverse classroom. So this is going to bring a new level of immersion, and you think about it very carefully. There's going to be a whole new wave of technology that's going to be launching. In the next 10, 15 years, you're going to see the biggest names in the world in technology who are renaming themselves to Meta. You see Apple, who's also going to be launching an AR headset next year, or they're going to be announcing something. This is the sign of something great to happen. The metaverse not only brings people together, but it also brings brands and businesses the exposure that they never had before. We also believe that the metaverse is the future of social media. If you look at today, how most brands and businesses are marketing, it's all through social media. It's through TikTok, it's through Instagram, it's through Facebook. But when I start to analyze how do these companies use social media, before it was TV and radio. Before that, it was newspapers and articles. Now it's all about social media. They want you to feel their brand. They want you to experience their company, and they want to interact with their customers and potential consumers. So inside the metaverse, social media is going to be on a different level. You will be able to interact with different users. You will have your own avatars instead of a profile picture, and you don't have to visit my profile. You can actually visit my home. You can actually visit my space. Or if it's a brand or a business, you can actually visit the actual metaverse 3D environment that we created. It's going to be an immersive experience. You don't need to have a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or a TikTok Live. You will actually be able to create a real-life event inside the metaverse where certain people who hold NFTs or certain tokens will be able to enter. People will not just be following you, they'll actually be following you literally inside the metaverse. We've actually conducted many events over the last year, and with COVID and with the travel restrictions, what people realize is that the metaverse is more important than ever before. Many people who are working from home, they complain about how you can't replicate the real workplace environment, because I know many people that love going to work. They want to be around the people that they work with. They want to interact with these people. If you're stuck on a Zoom call, you don't get the same experience. But with the metaverse, you actually have the immersion. You actually be able to see your colleagues, and you can collaborate in real time. And as technology gets better, and as graphics and rendering improves, it's going to be as though you're in a workplace without leaving your home. This is technology that the metaverse can bring. The future of education. Before, many brands and businesses were trying to educate people on their brands regarding the ethos, regarding classrooms, universities, colleges. Most of these education platforms are all physical. My dad is actually into cybersecurity, and he teaches physical classes. But because of COVID, that business disappeared. Nobody could go leave their homes. So that business is really affected. The metaverse provides a solution for immersive education. Many schools are already implementing AR technology. You will be able to view, for example, it's very dangerous to do certain chemical experiments as a scientist. But however, if you can replicate the physics and you can replicate the chemistry in a 3D space, it's much safer. And there's also, like I mentioned before, classrooms and education portals that you'll be able to access, and with much more immersion like never before. So who's already in the metaverse? We've seen some of the biggest brands and businesses from all around the world already step into the space of Web3. People want to really learn about blockchain. We have the biggest names in the whole world, including Facebook, now Meta. We have some of the biggest gaming companies, some of the biggest software as a service companies all trying to step inside the metaverse. So why are these companies stepping inside the metaverse? This is the beginning. This is what people need to understand. We're just at the beginning of the metaverse. Most people haven't defined a proper use case for their business. But this is what they're working on. So in the next 5 years, solutions that provide metaverse options, such as metaverse as a service, will be helping every single brand and business. And we always talk about how Web 1 was the beginning, then Web 2, www, everything changed. But what people tend to forget, it's not just the software that changed. We would not have the revolutionary massive tech companies such as Facebook and Instagram if we didn't have the hardware at the same time. So it's not just about developing faster internet and having the ability to have better software. When that's timed with the right hardware, that's when you see the global shift. So in the beginning, there was the World Wide Web, there was the internet browsers. Before, it was very difficult to do everything on your computer. But then you could switch to your mobile device, which is so powerful, everybody is interacting with Web 2 on the mobiles. So now everybody's talking about Web 3, the big shift, more immersiveness, you actually get to feel the metaverse. But I wouldn't be so excited about the metaverse unless there was going to be some new hardware that's going to really come at the right time and impact people's experience with this new technology. So you have to look at what Apple is working on. Because when Apple is developing an AR headset, it tells you that this is the future. They've been planning this for the last 5 years. They believe now is the right time. Facebook has changed their whole business model to provide augmented reality headsets. Computer companies such as Lenovo are not focusing on just monitors or screens anymore. They're developing AR headsets. You see PlayStation, who's a massive gaming company, Sony, they also launched, they recently launched the second version of their AR headset. So what we can see is not just technology and software, blockchain that's improving, we're seeing hardware that's also improving. So when this happens, and blockchain and the latest software as a service is combined with this new hardware, that's when we see the next global shift. By 2024, AR and VR headsets are going to be very affordable. There's already over 3,000 apps on the Apple Play Store, Oculus Quest Store, and Google Android Play Store for AR applications and games. Even Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, he said in the future, people will be surprised that we didn't have AR technology. They wouldn't believe that we lived without this technology. That's how immersive it's going to be. Now, if I want to do an electronic transfer, we have to pull out my phone and I have to enter your address, but I won't be able to do that in 2 seconds. In the future, if you have your AR headset on, which is going to be connected to your thoughts, you'll be able to make a transaction and see the transaction go through without even having to take out your mobile phone. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening to what we had to say. I'm representing Blue Moon today at this event. I'm just going to quickly explain to you our story so far. So we started off with Legion Network, and we wanted to create the first blockchain super app because we believe that it's very necessary for people to learn about blockchain and have one place where they can learn. So early this year, we launched the super app. We had over 4 million downloads in the first 3 months, and we've been developing a community ever since then. Now, the next goal is to help people learn about the metaverse, how they can use this as a service. So our goal over the next 2 years is to allow companies to use the metaverse as a service. So most companies have metaverse in the roadmap. They don't know how to develop, or they're not specialists in this. So this is where we come in, and this is where we help different projects from all around the world. So there's so many different use cases. I think my time is over now. So I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, very good. Next up, we have a presentation. Thank you. Yes. Web 3.0 opportunities for brands and users. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this name correctly. Ilker Salim Zorglu. Hi. Thank you. This word I can do. CSO of GoArt Metaverse. I said that correctly. So, 10 minutes. Yes. All right. I'll go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ilker, and I am the Chief Strategy Officer of GoArt Metaverse. Today, I'm going to explain you how we are solving the engagement issue in the metaverse in Web3, and what is the opportunity that we are actually providing a real solution to the brands and the users to engage in the Web3 space. So, actually, what we see right now in the ecosystem is that most of the innovative businesses want to engage with their customers in the metaverse. However, they don't know really how to do it. And the second thing that we saw is the metaverse presences of the brands have little to no relationship with their real life experience that they're providing to the customers. And also, the most metaverses have very poor engagement in the ecosystem. That's because they are not really in the where customers live in their mobile phones. So with these three main issues, we bring up an augmented reality based metaverse platform which is mobile first to the users and to brands to spend time and engage in a different level, in an immersive level in Web3 space. And users can gain immediate value through our gamified in-app rewards with a form of cryptocurrency or promotion codes. And they can take it from the brand side or from our side. And also, we provide the brands an immersive Web3 positioning expectation, and also with our gamified engagement area. Our strong point is that if you have an immersive, a good content in the Web3 space, then on top of it, if you add the game, then you can have the real engagement in the space. So if we see GoArt Metaverse, we are just like, you can see with the three main points, the convenience of an interactive mobile game like Pokemon Go, the experience of a Web3 metaverse like Sandbox, and a traffic provider with coupons like Rakuten. So I would like to show you a small video that see how immersive that we are talking about to understand why people want to spend time inside here, and if it works, of course. There is a little lag. Okay. The internet connection issues, of course, this is very usual, but since waiting for the lag to come, what we're providing here is that in the Web3 space, the engagement areas that we want to give the people have an opportunity to engage with the brands, and the 3D space that we develop that you could have seen, but I think it's not going to be possible. So if you're if you want to, you can go in GoArt Metaverse YouTube or on Twitter and see. But what I want to say in here is that how the user journey starts and ends in here. We saw that the first thing is to create your avatar, of course, and on top of that avatar, you can purchase different NFTs from the famous brands and use it to make your avatar in a better way. And of course, after that, we have some time portals that you could have seen in the video, but that is how you get into virtual spaces in GoArt Metaverse and explore the virtual spaces inside that portals. And after that, the user can go while they're discovering, do some tasks or find some treasure hunts inside the virtual spaces and collect some points and promotion codes inside. And on top of it, the user can have improve their avatar with collecting some NFTs, purchasing them, or spending much time, more time inside the space. And on top of this, because we are a mobile app, we have another opportunity to present to people that geo-coaching activities. So what we do there is like we are pinning the locations of in different locations of the branches for the brands, and when the users go there in the real world, they engage with the different content that they can earn different rewards. The second part is mainly in the product is what we're providing for the brands. So the basic issue you probably have all heard about the engagement problem and how less people are going inside every day, especially in the beer market. I'm going to explain how we solve it and how we did in the beer market. But first, I would like to say that we are bringing this traffic in digital and in physical to the brands. And in digital side, with the very detailed and immersive content on top of the content, we are providing the brands that they can distribute some MT tokens that can be converted into Polygon and in the Matic coin, and also they can hide some promotion codes in the virtual space, and as well as their loyalty points. So in that way, we are attracting the customers to come to their virtual space. And in the physical world, as I explained, that we are giving an opportunity to brands to pin their physical store locations to attract more people in the physical store, and the people who found some promotional codes or some rewards, some loyalty points, they can directly use it when they are there. So what we are trying to do here is that have a different bond between users and the brands. So we are cutting the middleman, and we are just giving the incentives and the utilities to the end user directly. So in that way, we are bringing this traffic to the space. So what we have done so far, we have been in AR development business since 2017, and around 2020 we realize and bring up this approach of this problem-solving approach. And in the beer market, in the beginning of the beer market, in the beginning of June, we launched our alpha version of app, and we give it to the users to see their reactions. So in the first 6 months, we only had our own virtual space areas for see the user attraction, and in the first 6 months, we have at the end of it like 58,000 monthly active user from 52 different countries, and they had like 40 minutes of engagement time per person daily. So we saw that people are really engaging because it's in mobile, because we are giving an immersive AR solution, and they're spending time and collecting tokens inside. They liked it. So in that manner, when we realized that it is working, we started to talk with the brands, and we started with our own backyard in Turkey. And in the last few months, we managed to onboard 8 very big brands from Turkey, which they have around 34 million digital users already in Web2. And with these 8 brands, we managed to have 4.3 million revenue in the last couple of months. So what we are giving them, I want to show you one of them. This is one of the biggest banks in Turkey, Halkbank. And what we are giving them as an opportunity to be here is first thing that we are developing their metaverse presence. And on top of it, Halkbank case is that they want to make their digital acceleration program into metaverse, and also they are opening their metaverse department at the same time with starting with this process. So we are giving some kind of strategic advice to the brands also, and on top of it, they are putting Halkbank loyalty points. We opened that store, by the way, in the beginning of this month, And now you can download Guard Metaverse and check how the store looks like. But they're hiding some loyalty points, and these loyalty points can be transferred to fiat money through their credit cards. So the points that the users are collecting, they can directly transfer it to money right now. And what we are going to do next month with them is that to have, they are sponsored for 16 universities, and they want to make the treasure hunt game in the universities for the students. And we are going to use our geo-coaching activity positioning there. Let's see if this one is opening. Yeah, okay. I think because of the internet, the quality is not that good in the video, but as you can see, their metaverse branch is, yeah, better. Huh? That was, yeah. I wish the other one worked. Yeah. We'll see. Okay, you can see that their metaverse space. They also have an event side in here, so they are doing a lot of different events inside this this space. Let me see if it is working. I will finish with that. But what we are providing here, as you understand and see, is we just started? Yeah. Okay.
Metaverse is. The magic of the future is the portal into a parallel world with limitless possibilities of technology and business. Be part of the magic by passing through GoArt time portals. In GoArt Metaverse, anybody can be anyone and look like anything. In this fantasy world, it's possible to visit shopping malls and buy something for the new world. Packs are critically important for the avatars to get more energy and collect more tokens in GoArt Metaverse. By collecting tokens, you can earn much more and convert your crypto assets into real-life benefits. You can attend the concerts, events, meetings, and the conferences with this token.
There was a lag, but yeah, in general, I would like to end it with the GoArt Metaverse, that we are using these use cases to bring the solution, and we believe that the main idea is to bring a real solution to the space, especially in the beer market. So thank you very much for listening, and hope to meet you around. Thank you.
That soundtrack was pretty amped. Okay, next up we have a presentation by Chris Mell, CIO of BitSliced. He's going to tell us all about the Sliced app. So, Chris, can you come to the stage? Chris, come on side. Big round of applause, please. And
yeah,
Yeah,
thank
oh,
you.
yours.
Thank you so much. Hello all. My name is Chris. I'm the CIO and co-founder of the marketplace, which we are calling Slice Marketplace. So BitSlice was actually founded back in March 2022. Since then, actually, we started to implement already a lot of strategies and also build an awesome team to get forward, to get to the product where we are right now. Because also after the presentation, we would like you to already show you the early stage MVP we have already. So we are currently in a funding stage pre-seed with the Solution Slice Marketplace, which I will show you really soon. Our team, we have a team member pool of 12 people, which experiences development, also like experience in entrepreneurship, sales, and yeah, we're speaking up to 8 languages, and our community is beside the website where you can reach us, and we're engaging on Twitter, Telegram, and social media platforms, other social media platforms. So why are we actually started to build social media, not a social media marketplace, but what we're going to do is also we're implementing Socialfy Web3 marketplace is because of the actual trends. Because big brands, sport teams, celebrities, and also up to creators, they're going to adopt NFTs, or many of them are going to adopt NFTs to promote and capture attention from a new customer or base. So one of the recent ones was the Binance Binance relation to Cristiano Ronaldo, where they did a partnership to release their first NFT collection. So our problems, because before we had actually to start to get into the development of our marketplace, we have to face problems. What are we facing right now with current marketplaces? So one of these is that current NFT marketplaces are not really easy to use for the average Joe. So they're really struggling with, for example, even minting already. And when we're talking about collection or creating a collection, they wouldn't even do it. There are no financial incentives actually for consumers of a brand by onboarding new community members. The creator requires programming knowledge, and that's also like related to what I mentioned before for the average Joe, that they will really hustle on it. And most exclusive NFTs are mostly just for the richer audience. So, and the last one, what I was actually mentioning at the beginning, is also the lack of social integration. We would like to combine our marketplace with social media aspects, and that's why we're going also to talk about the channels in this presentation. And this is our solution, the Slice Marketplace. So as I told you already, feel free to visit us to get an insight of our early stage MVP. And to explain it in short words, what we are actually, it's actually that we are bringing the NFT new marketplace experience to monetize your web presence, your Web3 presence, and also allows active users to get rewarded through our ecosystem. So here I will show you the features. On one side, you can see the consumer solutions and creator solutions. We separated them a little bit to make it a bit easier also for everyone to understand. So financial incentives for the consumers by earning cashbacks through our ecosystem, and also like staking or, for example, providing liquidity. Consumer benefits from giving data. On our marketplace, we are going to run ads. From these advertisement revenues, we are cutting a percentage to give it actually back to the user who's giving us the data. And the NFTs are offering new cases to empower the consumer creator of relationships. That's where we're going to talk about the channels again. Then the creator solutions, we have for the average Joe, the no code and easy and intuitive user experience, which we can provide, and also the multi-chain. Leverage your community, and launching, promote, and build community from one place. And beside these, we have also like later on going to add the slice pad, batching with systems, and also the fractional ownership. So here you can actually see the channels in a kind of a screenshot. And I will show you the functionalities or explain you the functionalities we have. So we have earn passive income. So earn passive income means like to create a channel, you have the option to create a ticket price, because an entry ticket price. So the ticket, NFT ticket, how we are calling it, gives other users the opportunity to enter your own channel. So there's also another option beside the tickets. We have also already started to develop a model where you can set up your subscription for your channel, so make it even easier for your consumers or for your audience to reach your channel. Then chatting and discussing with your audience is also a really important part. And you can now do it directly in our marketplace instead of outside or with other social media platforms or other mediums. So you can talk about your upcoming product updates, ideas, or maybe even about your intellectual property. There's no management required with our marketplace channel solution. The only thing you have to do is you create a channel, and then you have actually the option to just put the price of the channel ticket. And after this, you don't have to manage the users, you don't have to worry about payments. You just have to actually provide a really cool product and engage with your community. Then we have also minting an NFT and also trading NFTs inside our channels. And yeah, the loyalty system through attributes. This is actually a really nice cool feature where we're going to use our badging system in kind of an SBT. And this gives the channel an extra highlight in the whole Slice marketplace, where you can, for example, obtain a blue verified check mark, or for example, maybe your channel was in a trance for a recent or specific timeline, so you will also obtain, for example, a badge, and we have many more features. So now I'm talking about the token. The demand and the utility of the token comes from minting, joining channels, entering the Slice pad, advertising NFTs, entering the metaverse, and also inclusive events, and so on. Secondly, you can use your Slice token to get rewarded through our ecosystem. And thirdly, we have like staking Slice also to receive recurring rewards from our treasury program. In this slide, I'm just cutting on our tokenomics and our token details. I really recommend you guys to visit our website to have a deeper insight in our token specs. But what I can say is we are going to launch an ERC20 token on Ethereum. Our token ticker will be Slice. We're calling it the Slice token. And also, the supply will be of 250 million. No more minted, and everything is already hard-coded in the smart contract. So due to current market events, as everyone knows, we had to adapt our roadmap a little bit. We had more things to plan actually in Q4, and now it looks quite empty. But for us, it's still one of the most successful and also surprisingly good quarters because we managed to build an awesome team around us to get to start to develop our MVP. And this is the last slide where I would like to talk to you about how actually BitSlice started, what kind of vision we had at the beginning, and that was real-world assets. We wanted to connect real-world assets with Web3. And why we wanted to do it is because, we see the new door to liquidity, we see higher cashbacks, more accessibility through fractionalization, which we can talk also later about a bit more. We have also little things prepared. More audience, and at the end, what we're going to do is we would like to become the bridge because, the bridge between Web3 and also the real-world assets. Thank you.
Right, very nice. Next presentation by R.A. Wilson, CTO of One GCX. The topic is Alpha, Efficiency, and the Future of Digital Assets. So let's give a big round of applause for R.A. Wilson. How are you? All yours.
Good morning. I'm R.A. Wilson, CTO of 1GCX, and today we're talking about alpha, efficiency, and the future of digital assets. Presumably, we're all here for alpha, actively seeking return on our investments. Alpha can come from different emergent sources, whether it's bringing yourself into the field or looking at data sources, data aggregation, on-chain data, increased information flows from APIs, etc. When it comes to digital assets, we have the unique opportunity of looking at on-chain data and information flows to formulate a new plan for our investment strategy. Utilizing different forms of efficiency through the better use of information technology and the underlying data allows us to better digitize our contract flows, order flows, and look at new data accumulation. Data accumulation can come from remote sensing, whether that's sensors in the field. So for commodities in particular, we can look at energy commodities. For renewable energy, there's been a new uprising of the use of remote sensing technology at the point of creation for energy and the point of use. You can look at the balance of the point of use, the point of creation, and everything in between to see where there are inefficiencies within the new renewable energy resources. And to plug those holes of leakage within energy usage, we can also look at remote sensing of battery storage facilities to make certain that we utilize our energy in the most efficient manner. This can allow us to invest more properly into different commodities, whether it's energy or natural asset resources. Natural asset capital is one of the most abundant forms of capital for the future and the flow of investment within the next 50 years. At 1GCX, we focus a little bit on carbon offsets. Carbon offsets are essentially training wheels when it comes to natural asset capital. They're an emergent asset that comes from looking at the sequestration of carbon from the atmosphere into carbon sinks from direct air capture or natural resource sinks such as very large forests and wetlands, etc., rehabilitating the land. Natural asset capital can come from looking at aqua with water, looking at soil, water, retention, etc. Launchpads for investing are integral for making sure that we look at the future of digital assets in a new way. We can educate individuals looking at natural asset capital, digitized commodities, or cryptocurrencies by making sure that they have a centralized introduction into these markets and then decentralized capabilities on the other side so that they can utilize decentralized knowledge bases, centralized onboarding spaces, et cetera, to have a more secure and easy transition into these digital markets. Natural asset capital is one of the greatest opportunities for the future of digital assets, but when it comes to digitizing assets, commodities in general all need to be digitized. Currently, there are very few commodities that have been digitized, whether it's being traded through CME in the United States. The London Metals Exchange has begun to decentralize by digitizing their metals, such as nickel, gold, copper, etc. And we at 1GCX aim to digitize, whether through blockchain or distributed ledgers, absolutely all commodities available on the market now and by looking at the future of commodities. When it comes to the future of commodities, layer one chains, particularly layer one chains that look at the use and composability of data are the most important future of what we believe in cryptocurrencies, layer ones, and the use of these emergent technologies. When we look at composability of data, we need to look at what can we use that data for to increase our alpha when looking at these markets. Essentially, you can look at the data that's available and try and compete with everyone else looking at the same data, look at the market, et cetera, or we can look at brand new digital assets. And so we have the unique opportunity right now, as we see it, as we digitize new digital assets, whether it's commodities or cryptocurrencies, to see them as they emerge, find that price discovery, and increase our availability of delta and alpha within the markets. As we see it, as a launchpad for investing, we have the opportunity to give investors whether retail investors, institutional investors, or venture capitalists, the opportunity to come into new asset classes, find that price discovery, benefit their portfolios, and continue to build a larger and larger subset of digital assets. In the future, we will see traders utilizing on-chain data and looking at brand new assets being put onto exchange, finding that price discovery, and then working towards a more efficient market. Currently, the market is oversaturated, it's quite efficient, but as we bring on new assets, everyone has the ability to create more alpha for themselves and their portfolio. Thank you.
Lovely. Now we have Chris Hugh, Head of Product Development for Security Capital. Remittance, either Emmy or me, he'll tell us. Is this bigger than the metaverse? So, Chris?
I'm here.
The remittance, Emmy, or... Big round of applause. There
Yeah. That's good from that group. Thank you. I am going to try and keep it short and sweet. Thank you. Welcome. Great session so far. Really enjoying it. What I wanted to do is just kind of take a slightly different view in terms of what we're looking for here. So when we look at the things I want to talk about from themes, I did want to start by putting out some gratitude and thanks to some influences in terms of this presentation today. The first is Dakota Gruner, and she is with ID 2020. They're a great group, fantastic presentation I saw a few weeks back on the risks of digital identity, and this is a key theme I wanted to touch upon today. The second one is with the futurist Brett King. Got to see him a few weeks ago as well. Fantastic in terms of validating a number of areas which truly, I think, are the augmentations to a lot of the metaverse discussions we've been having and will have through the next 2 days of this conference. The third individual I want to thank, although they're not a person, is DALL-E. So for those who don't know DALL-E, this is the OpenAI Labs platform for creating images, and we've got some weird ones coming as I go through this. So, Remittance Me This was a play on Batman and the Riddler, just to answer the question what the title was. And it really comes in two parts. Remittance, we know this is the sending of money to a distant place, and we've been very used to doing this in the physical world for generations, millennia. But now we're talking about doing that virtually. And when we talk about me or Emmy, I meant it in two different flavors. The first was me as an individual, but the second was Emmy in terms of the Middle East, because this is where we have started to build out some of the most amazing journeys as we've been speaking on metaverses to date. Okay, so this is a numbers game, and we've had a lot of good numbers shown in presentations so far. The biggest number in the news, I think, in the last few weeks has been this one. 8 billion people now on this planet. That's a healthy number, ever increasing as we know. And why is this important? Well, when we talk about metaverse, there's a lot of things we need to think about that's going to support this. And it's not supporting just from the traditional sense, but also this new paradigm that's been created. What we have to see is the fact that out of this 8 billion, 1.1 billion have no identity. And when we talk about remittance, part of that process of transfer of value is about knowing and being able to identify the people that are a part of that process itself. Another number, though, which also we need to be very careful of, is looking at migration processes. Why? Because again, in this region, we will see an abundance of people coming in over time, but it's also important to note that we're expecting 800 million people to move across this planet over the next 20 years. Identity is a key factor to assisting them in that process, relocation, and again, as part of the remittance of transfer of money. this is an area that is a huge amount of opportunity in my mind. Okay, these slides are a little bit bigger than I expected. When we think about other numbers, though, we talked about identity. The other part of remittance is to do with the wallet, the banking. Currently around the world, 1.2 billion people are unbanked. And again, why is this opportunity? It is opportunity because when you think about in this region, this hub that we have is all about lots of individuals who come from many different countries that don't have access to these processes today. As an example, in the Philippines, only 34.5% of people are banked. Vietnam, 30.8%. And we can go down this list. But remittance is that process of transfer that if we're not tackling these key issues around identity, around banking and wallets, then ultimately you're losing out when it comes to working in the metaverse long term. It really doesn't work unless you have transfer of value into that state. Now, this was a strange one. I tried to, one of my favorite movies is Minority Report, if anyone's seen it. This is a play on that. Dali's done some nice jobs here, I think, in terms of imagery for this presentation. Identity is key, but the last part of this I wanted to talk about is something which is an extension of that. And again, this is opportunistic for those who tackle this problem. When we think about how we've seen groups like Cambridge Analytica many years ago and what Facebook has done in the past in other areas, we have to bring this back to what we own as individuals. And when we tackle this problem and we think about, you know, it's my height, my eye colors, all of these things that go into the personalization, the customization, and the monetization for the metaverse and what we've seen in the past, this becomes another critical aspect to ensuring we have the building blocks that will support all these wonderful things we've been talking about today and tomorrow. And for me, in this journey, what I really wanted to ensure that was imparted to you in this process, and also to help catch up the time for this schedule, is remittance is going to drive the opportunity in metaverse. There is no doubt upon that. And whether it's at a micropayment level, at the wallet level, we need to do two things, and we need to make sure they go hand in hand. We need to make sure that we have a well thought through identity process. We need to make sure we have well through wallets. And in those assurances, regulation becomes key in this as well. So that was really all I wanted to impart, is let's get excited about metaverse. I think we're seeing a lot of great stuff here. But alongside that, remember, in order to make this work, we have some key pillars that has to support it, or eventually it will all fall over. Thank you for your time. In fact, it was a bit of fun and games, but something different to do. Oh, that was probably about 10 on each one. Exactly. Well, if I had to paint that, I'd never be standing here, so that's true. Great, thanks.
All right, so slide program shift. Hadi, please welcome our co-founder, Hadi Malib, to the stage. Big round of applause. So we're going to have a program note. You're going to explain what's coming up and how everyone can take best advantage of it, and all yours.
Okay, so we're supposed to have a presentation by Vulcan Forge, but unfortunately, Jamie got sick and he won't be able to make it for this time around. If you do have an interest in Vulcan Forge specifically, please talk to our team members. We're more than happy to connect you with Jamie and his team after the event is over. After we, right after this, we're going to head into coffee break as per the schedule, and then the one-to-one meetings that are happening in this room, the room adjacent to this one. So whoever has a schedule for meetings with the projects, please make sure that we are sticking to our allotted times and to the schedule. If you are an investor and you are not scheduled to speak to the projects, or if there is a project that you would like to speak to and you're not scheduled to speak to them, please let us know as well, and our team will make sure that you they connect you with the right people.
All right. Here's your mission during the coffee break. Meet someone new. Okay? Or meet two new people. And everyone, stand up. Go caffeinate.